Alright guys, I'm back with Charles. This is episode number 2. You're thinking, Charles, what does that mean? Let me put it on the screen for you. Charles is cheap, hot rod, affordable, reliable LT1 engine swap. That's how I got the name Charles. Anyway, I've done a lot of Charles already in this episode number 2 that's coming in this video. Things like getting a tag on it, driving. I've been to 2 car shows already. And I'm really floored by 300,000 views in about 3 weeks. That's nuts. That's crazy to me. I love it. Thank you. The amount of comments, I think it was 800 something, somewhere between 800 and 900 comments, which by the way, I've read and replied to all of them. I guess half of those are my replies. And I think it was 7,000 something likes. Love that. Thank you. And on the comments, if it makes sense to me, if you say something like your exhaust, it needs some kind of flex, it's going to break. I just bought these. We're going to add these. This is for flexing. Things like you need a fuse coming from the battery. I've already added that fuse. That's later in this video. I got to hook up a flat wire harness kit so when we hook the trailer on, we can have taillights on the trailer. I've already started working on the truck bed trailer. There's a lot going on in this video, and I think what the first 5 minutes, I've got it in less than 5 minutes. This was a 44-minute video in episode 1. I've shortened it up and sped up some parts. So now the whole build in 5 minutes. That's coming up next. If you want to skip ahead to the 5-6 minute mark, you can get into this episode. I just picked this one up, $500. And then today I found this engine and this transmission. $500 for the transmission, $500 for the engine, $500 for a truck. I'm seeing a theme here. Then I took my grinder, made a line here, made a line there, took a hammer and chisel, tapped that metal out of the way. All the motor mounts are in place. Okay, today's mission was engine sitting in place, bolted down. So I got clearance around the headers. I found this out of Explorer, unknown year. Anyway, the conversion universal joint, going to go in here if you want the numbers off of it, 3-3130. And inside the truck, I just mounted these 3 gauges. I just mounted this. This holds the computer. The computer's going to go just like that. So I went and looked at all the radiator hoses. This one is the right size. It's got a bunch of bends. I'm thinking I can take this, cut it somewhere, and make the top and bottom radiator hose out of one hose. So yesterday I found this old school topper. I like it, kind of a farm truck look. This is off my first car, my Camaro. It was a 1969. I went ahead and put the hood on. It's lined up pretty good. Other than the front bumper, the front end is done. So here in front of the truck, I've got this pretty chrome bull bar. I thought I'd never have a use for it, so I'm gonna try to cut an angle out, have it come up, you know, cold air. And here's a shot of the custom chrome cold air system. It looks like 7 7/8. And then right here in the front, it's measuring 4 7/8. So that's 3 inches difference. So this is what a seat cover looks like. Now the Z28 emblem pops right into place. Alright guys, that's the whole build, the whole story on Charles as far as episode 1 and episode 2. We've got a whole list of things to do. So here on the truck, before we can get it on the road, we've got to have taillights, brake lights, blinkers. This was being held on by one screw in episode 1. It was this rusty screw. It was really hard to get out. I've got to find some replacements. And they go here. These little clips go right here. On this dashboard, I've got little clips. I've got plenty of screws here in the garage. And then on the actual taillight, I've got a clip here. If we go to this ugly one that I don't want to use, I've got 2 clips. So I'm going to steal one of these. So I just picked out a handful of bolts. This is the original. We're going to replace that. There's probably 8 that match. 4 for this side, 4 for that side. And these little clips, I got a little bit of oil on those to keep them rusting. I've already got one in place. This one, I just retorqued it so it holds onto the metal better. It goes right here. It is now time to put this baby in place, and these light bulbs all look good. I'm going to bolt it all together. That's so much better than the old rusty junk that was in there. So this one is done. We're going to jump to the other side, and this truck used to have a sticker on the back window that said Spare Parts Racing. Spare parts, got the clips off of it. Spare parts, got the clips off of it. It pays to have spare parts. That's how this truck was done so cheap the first time. Okay, here on episode 2, we jump back to episode number 1. Taillight wiring is done. So on this black trim, I'm glad I've got it, and there's only one tab that marks where it goes. We'll put that tab in, then we'll eyeball it. I'm thinking maybe one screw here, one screw there. And that screw will actually give us more traction when we're stepping up and down on that. And if you don't like those screws, it's sure better than not having the trim on there. And now we just finished up rear bumper trim. Check that off. We're using black this time. And so on the second list, this is future stuff. This is not necessarily for episode number 2. Some of this will be. This and this, and probably cut out remote operation. I need to also add locker, posi, something to do with that rear end, maybe change rear end gears. I want to drive it first, see if I like these gears, if it needs to be lower, it needs to be higher. So I'm in the truck and I just realized something here where it's tacking gauges. I was debating between amp meter and voltmeter. I just realized there's a voltmeter already in the truck. If you look at it, it already works. Why do I need 2 voltmeters? So I'm gonna find some wire, hook up the amp meter, and if you want to see it work, I'm gonna fire it up. When you hit the starter, it goes down. When it starts charging, it goes up. And warning, the exhaust cutout is open. So here's a shot of the taillights all finished, and I would have got more done today. I've been helping the boy on his treehouse, and also I went up to town and I got tag, title, and insurance on this beast. She said, what kind of tag do you want? There's 3 options: In God We Trust, the county tag, some other option, or do you want antique tag? I've never had an antique tag before. I went with that. It's blue. One day the whole truck might be blue, and then I paid an extra $10. I got the title printed out. So title, tag, it's got insurance. I bought gas tonight. I'm thinking tomorrow morning we'll do a first ride up on the highway. And there it is, tag and insurance. I just checked it off the list. So this has been taillight day. I got the taillights back out. It was easy because it has all new screws. Anyway, the wiring harness, someone had cut the plug off. I don't need that. On the parts truck, I've got this plug. We're going to plug it in. It even has the tag lights, where this one had the tag lights had been removed. I can even show you. Somebody cut off the tag lights. Anyway, we'll get this in. We'll get the taillights back in. Check that off the list. And this came off the parts. If you remember the black bed that came on this truck, that's now parts. What the plan is to take that bed and here, let me just show you. Hold on. So I've got this newer body style, and I want to make a truck bed trailer of this. I bought it probably a year ago, $200 for the whole thing. I need to start selling some parts so I can get some of this money back. Anyway, I'm going to take this bed off, and that black bed that came on Charles is going on this frame. Use those Camaro wheels, those tires, that rear end, the frame. I've already got the tongue, which is, here's the tongue for it. That'll probably be episode 3 or 4 where we make a truck bed trailer to match. And when I say match, not in color, but it's a square body style. Get rid of this new stuff. Plane just almost flew through the moon. Anyway, back to this. So I just did a brainstorm. How can I check my backup lights before I put the taillights together? Well, if you take the collar shifter, put it in reverse, the backup lights come on. That means I can have backup lights anytime I want to. If there's ever a vehicle inspection, let's see your backup lights. I've got them. Anyway, I could be going down the interstate doing 70, put on my backup lights and confuse the people behind me. And that's the tail light installed. There's the backup light, the marker light, the tail light, the blinker. Everything's good. Let's do the other side. It is final tail light test time. Oh no, missing one parking light on the passenger side. We now have both parking lights. We are good to go. Okay, brand new plan on the exhaust cutout. I've got this. This is the plate that closes the exhaust cutout. I've only got one. I've marked the center. I've got this. I've got this hole saw. If I cut a hole in the middle, weld that to that, problem solved. Closed, open. If it leaks too much and we don't like the sound, we've already committed because this is the only block off plate I have right now. But you can get more. I've already marked the center. I've got my hole saw. Let's get to cutting. Here is our nice, hot, homemade custom exhaust cutout. It is a manual. We're going to hook a cable to it. I may have to extend this for the cable. I don't know yet, but I did patch up those holes with some tack welds. It's all put together. It's ready to bolt on and see what it sounds like. We can now check off cutout remote operation. We made it to the gas station. First time at a gas station in this truck. Pumping some gas. And don't look at my seat belts. Yeah, we got them, but they don't work, so we got to get new seat belts. I'm thinking bucket seats with maybe some racing seat belts and no cup holder. Need some kind of cup holder in here. So first trip out, and I brought it to a car show. Well, the car show's there, so technically not at the car show, but at the car show.
Couple other movie cars are gonna be there. I'm taking my wife home. She's gonna be there.
So I'm back from the show. It did good on the highway. It likes being on the highway. Anyway, in episode number 3 or 4 or 5, somewhere real soon, we need to get this windshield fixed, get a rear view mirror, get the windshield wipers on, get this cow panel on, not that order, cow panel, then windshield wipers, and then drive it. And I think the color it is right now, just leave it like this for a while. And at the show, I picked up a tag for the front. We gotta get that on there real quick, like probably in the next few minutes. So I'm here at the boys' treehouse, and we've got Charles. Charles is hauling back lumber and tools to help work on the treehouse. That's nice of him. That one's short. And for the list of comment suggestions, somebody said add a fuse to the electrical system. Your exhaust has to be flexible. And many people commented about adding a locker. So I want to go drive my truck, but probably not in hurricane conditions with no windshield wipers. So I'm going to drive Charles, but maybe not in this weather. This is hurricane weather. There's even an alarm going off. Anyway, water's flooding into the garage. I can still work on it, but we're not going to drive without windshield wipers in this kind of weather. So I'm here with Kevin. It's raining like crazy. Anyway, I just got a whole bunch of boat stuff on clearance. That's a future video. But this wire I'm going to use on this truck, I'm thinking for the ammeter. I need a wire anyway. This was $5. Can't beat that. So I'm just finished up some wiring. I added this 30 amp fuse. It comes from the battery straight to the fuse, goes into the ammeter, comes out, goes to that block. Let's go hit the key and see what it says. And you hit the brake lights, it makes it go down when you start it up. Alright, that was not on the list, but we can check off amp meter. So back here on the exhaust, I used a piece of bed frame with 2 muffler clamps. It's a really solid system, but it probably needs to be flexible. Plus, it's a little bit out of center. And when I put in the lowering blocks, now it's about an 1/8 inch away from the rear end when you go down the bumpy dirt road. That's that noise you're hearing. So I got to move it over an inch or 2 that way, plus make it flexible and get rid of that bumping noise. That's next on the list. There's also a small fight going on between the custom receiver hitch and the spring. There is a whole bunch of clearance between the exhaust pipes and the rear end. I did a lift kit on the bed frames with a couple spacers. We can check off exhaust. And on the hitch, there was some clearance made with a torch. So when I drove this truck to the car show the other night, when I got home, it smelled like plastic was melting. Then I felt this and it was kind of hot. So I just made a heat shield. Had a diamond plate. That's going to block that header, the extreme header heat. I just got to screw it to the firewall. That should solve that problem. I just traded out the old rusty ball for this new one. I found some on clearance, so I'll take that. This one can go in the hitch. That might be too low. We might use this one. I might paint it first, then put the ball on it. And then testing where we took the torch and cut off the hitch parts and then moved the exhaust over. That bump is the bump stops. I can live with that. So if you're wondering what happened to the traction bars, we can't put them on now. If we did, there'd be about an inch clearance between the traction bar and the ground. I live on a dirt road, you'd be getting stuck every time. And we also need to put new shock on the list. That one's leaking. Just came back from road trip number 3. Everything's running smooth. Do a little gas. Much better on the heat shield. So next on my list, I want to wash these windows because it's really hard to see with this topper on. Anyway, went to the dump, took off some trash, and I like to check the metal bin. This time in the metal bin, there was a piece of angle iron. There were some hose clamps, and this toolbox. It's not the best toolbox, but it's better than some ones I have. So I just cleaned off several years worth of moss, mold, whatever it was. I'm doing a little final cleaning, and then we might put a little sticker on there. It's got this nice PVT parking permit. I have no idea what it goes to, but I like it. Number 1647. That's going to be staying. Shout out to the Volvo guy. He sent me these stickers. Alright guys, welcome back to the office. I'm trying to wrap this video up, and the update is I just bought some more things. This, about $22. It's a plug and play wiring harness so I can get the trailer on here. I got a lowering kit that it's actually going to lift it. This is a 2-inch. Right now there's a 3-inch on there. I think sometimes it's perfectly level, but you put anything in the back, it's going to be squatting. I don't want a squatting truck, so I'm going to take the 3 inches off. That's going on the truck bed trailer. And let's see what else did I buy. Oh, the muffler flexible kit, the fuse, the front tag. So we're up to about $2,590. If you count the spray paint, I got some black spray paint. Let's just say 2 cans. That's about $10. We're up to $2,600 grand total right now. Let's get these installed. Let's go for a drive. Let's get this video out. Getting warmer. I gotta go your way, Mom. Instant camper. So I have these trailer wire kits, but I got the one that was made for this truck. It's just a simple plug-in. Those you'd have to splice. I don't want to splice. I want to just plug in. So I'm going to rip this open, go underneath, plug it in, and it's done. So under the truck, once you unplug it, there's a male, there's a female. You put this in there, plug the male in, plug the female in, hook up the ground wire, and you are done. It's like, what, 5-minute job? And then just like that, we're done. So the 3 inch is now out, the 2 inch is in. I use a ratchet strap to line everything up. Over on the other side, I gotta take the 3 inch out, put the 2 inch in, and the bump stop has this much clearance over here, that much clearance over there. All right, let's remeasure. This is in the front, looks like 4 3/4. And then in the back with the 2 inch blocks, looks like about 5 1/4. So about a 1/2 inch higher in the back. Once you put a spare tire back there or whatever you're hauling, should be level. And then here on the future truck bed trailer, I don't know why it's so high, it's 10 1/4 inches. We're gonna need, I've got the 3, if we add another 2 to it, it'd be level with the back of the truck. That's a lot of blocks. Maybe we can get rid of some springs. We'll see. So I just checked lowering blocks again. I added front spoiler. If you want to make some suggestions here, what else we can add or what order we should do these in, I still need to do windshield rust repair, get a new windshield, get a rear view mirror. I've already started truck bed trailer, stereo. I don't know when that's going to be.